Okay, hello everyone. This is Max, and I'm going to run you through the Gallium Data tutorial for MongoDB. So this is a tutorial that you can run yourself on your own machine, but I'm just going to run through it and show you how it goes. So Docker is required. So the first thing we ask you to do is to verify that Docker is running. Run this command, and Docker is perfectly happy. The next thing we do is we create a Docker network that we're going to be playing in. And then we're going to start 3 Docker containers. Now, there are easier ways of starting 3 Docker containers like Docker Compose and whatnot, but we're just going to do it one by one here just so that you get a good idea of what's going on. So the first container is just a copy of MongoDB, preloaded with a lot of data, but that's it, just standard Mongo. The next one is Gallium Data itself. Now, keep in mind that if you run this on your own machine, it's going to take a little bit longer because Docker is going to be downloading the images, but you know this. And then the last one to run is going to be a database client, which is a tool called, what's it called? Mongo Express, that we're going to be using to sort of view and query the database. So what we now have is 3 Docker images. Mongo Express, which talks to Gallium Data, and then Gallium Data talks to MongoDB. So let's take a look at Mongo Express and explore a little bit the Mongo database. All right, so you're looking at Mongo Express, and here we're looking at a collection called companies, and then at the bottom here we have a list of various companies. Like here we have a company called Wet Paint, for instance, and let me draw your attention to the fact that it has a category code of web, which is going to become relevant in just a second. Okay, so if I sort of continue with the tutorial here, we're going to say, hey, what if I didn't want to show those web companies, right? For security reasons, maybe, or for whatever reason. So for that, we can use Gallium Data. That's the kind of thing that Gallium Data does very, very well and very easily. So we have this filter that's been predefined for the tutorial. I'm going to activate it. And let's just take a quick look at it. And all it's doing is it's changing the queries that comes from clients before it hits the database. And it's basically saying, make sure that category is not equal to web. This is the syntax by Mongo. That's how Mongo does queries. Okay, so the filter is active. That means that my my query tool is going to be automatically applying that. So notice, for instance, that we have 18,000 documents. So if I run the same query again, suddenly I have only 15,000 documents, and Wet Paint is nowhere to be found. So this Gallium Data makes it possible to basically hide and show very selectively individual data items, objects, attributes, and whatnot. It gives you a tremendous amount of control. And this is done with a very simple, in this particular case, just literally a single line of code. So that makes it real easy. We can also change the data that comes back out of the database towards the client. And for instance, here we're going to say, well, if the company has a category code of enterprise, I don't want to show the number of employees. Okay, so here we have another filter. I'm going to, once again, activate it. It applies to the test.companies collection, only for category code equals enterprise, and it's a single line of code that says number of employees should be 0. So the code is active, and that means that if I bring up, let's say, AdventNet, I'm going to see that number of employees is 0. Now, I could, of course, change that. I could even make it, anything I want, publish that, and now suddenly, I've changed the way the database works. It's usually not a good idea to change the data type of an attribute because that could break existing applications, obviously. But Gallium Data allows you to do whatever you want, however you want to do it. It's a very powerful tool. So that's kind of just the quick tutorial here for MongoDB. I hope you've seen that Gallium Data sits between the client and the server, intercepts the traffic, and allows you to change the traffic, which really allows you to do things that would be very difficult to do otherwise using traditional means. So I hope you take Gallium Data for a spin, maybe try it with your own database. Uh, and once you're done, you can just remove everything running these commands here, and it'll just clean out your machine and take out everything that's been installed and created. Check us out at galliumdata.com, and thanks for watching.